Hello guys and welcome to Nat Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world. So quickly, today we are going to learn how to cut and sew a plain trouser. All right, it's a suit trouser, a plain trouser. So if you want to be seeing contents like this from me, hit the subscribe button and turn your notification bell on, all right, so that whenever I drop my contents, you will be the first to be notified. All right, so let's start. We're going to be using a waist measurement of 34. The trouser lap, the tie is 26. The trouser length is 40 and a half, 20.5. The knee is 18 and the ankle is 14. So without wasting time, let's start. So for us to cut our trouser, first we are going to identify we are going to mark the side line where our measurements are going to begin, all right? We are going to begin from here. All our measurements will begin from this mark I'm making here. All right. So what we're going to do now is to identify all the horizontal measurements. Okay. And we are going to mark here to be our beginning point from the waist area. This is our waistline. Okay, this is the waistline here. The next thing is for us to identify the half length of the trouser. And to get our half length, we'll divide the length by 2. So divide 40.5 by 2. You get 20 and a quarter. But I'm going to give it at 19. I might not want to leave at 19. All right, just instead of 20. The length of the trouser is 40.5. This is 40.5. And an allowance of 2 inches, that becomes 42.5. All right. We're going to extend this point to the middle here so we can get straight lines. Okay. So this is 19. This is 40.5. This is 42.5. So let's join this together. So remember, this is our waistline. This is our knee. This is our length. This is our hemming allowance. Do we understand? The next thing for us to do now is to get the waist of this trouser. And to get our waist, we're going to come in here by half an inch. All right, half an inch. Okay, we'll mark the waist from here. This will help us shape our trouser. So the waist we said is 34. 34 divided by 4, that will give you 8.5. So this is our 8.5 here. Plus half inch seam allowance, that becomes 9. Okay, becomes 9 here. Then we'll come in by what? By half inch or 3/4 inch. Okay, let's say 3/4 inch, and we'll join this point to this point here. This is just to give our trouser shape at the front. Okay, the trouser is always deep at the front and high at the back. Now the next thing for us to do now is to locate our crotch. I'm showing you a step way of cutting a trouser. The next thing for us to locate our crotch. How can we get our crotch? We get our crotch by dividing the waist measurement by what? By 4. So divide 34 by 4. That gives you what? So for us to get our crotch, we'll divide our waist measurement by what? By 4. So if we divide 34 by 4, just like we did for the waist, we are going to have 8.5. All right, 8.5. So this 8.5 here. But guys, I'm going to add half inch to this 8.5 because I want it to be a bit free for the person. That's why I'm adding the half inch. Else I won't add it. Okay, so I'll use 9. So this my crotch length here. This mark here where I got my crotch length will now become my thigh line. Do we get that? So it will now become my what? My thigh line. Like this. All right. The next thing for us to do is to, what do we have here? From here to here, 9.5. Right? We'll now come here and still mark the same thing, 9.5. We'll join this point here. Now, guys, I want to teach us how to curve our crotch. Listen good. The next thing for us to do now is to identify our hip line. We identify hip line by measuring 2 inches above the crotch line. So this is 2 inches above the crotch line. That becomes our hip line. So on this hip line, you will now do what? You will now apply your hip measurement. All right. So I'm simply going to add 1 inch here. And this is my hip line here. 1 inch to get my hip. Got it. So I'll join this point back to the to the waist. Can you see that? This is so good, guys. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe at this point, like the video, share the video. Thank you, guys. Let's go. The next thing for us to locate the lap. You say lap is what? It's 26, right? Divide by 2. You're going to be having 13. Look at 13 here. 13 here, guys. So at this point, you simply curve this to come and meet with this line here. Guys, we are done curving our crotch. Is it not simple? Very simple, guys. Very simple. The next thing for us to do is to apply the rest of the measurements. So for us to do that, we're going to identify the center of this tie line, which is 13, divided by 2. We're going to be having this is the center, all right? Center is what? From here to this, our line here is 6 1/4. So we'll mark this 6 1/4 all the way down to get the center line so as to apply measurements to it and finish our trouser, guys. Next is for us to get the knee point, the ankle, and shape our trouser. So we said the knee is 18. Now divide 18 by 2, you have 9. So 4.5 this side plus 4.5 this side gives you 9. Here and here. Can you see that? Come to the ankle. You see the ankle is 14. It means we have 7 here. 14, you divide 14 by 2, you have 7. So for us to get that 7 here, we'll mark 3.5 inches this side, 3.5 inches this side. That becomes 7. All right. Next, for us to join this point to this point, this point to this point, this point to this point, this point to this point. That's so good. So let's go. This point to this point here. That is it. Right? Now do this point to this point here. That's right, guys. Next, for us to look at this page, please. You can see what's happening here. Guys, if this video is making sense, please subscribe, like, and share the video. You can see the trouser came and it's a bit point curvy down here. So I'm going to flay it out here a little. All right? When cutting it. You understand what I mean by this? I'll talk about it when I'm sewing the trouser. The next thing for us to come here and do what? Join this point here to the tie line here. Join this point to the tie line here. Are we together? Right? And then join this point here to here. All right? Just see the way I'm doing this, guys. Very, very simple. Now, take note of this. This point shouldn't be sharp. This edge should not be sharp. Make sure you blend them. They must not and shouldn't be sharp. All right. Next is for us to join this point to this point. This half inch we marked here. We join to this hip line here. Join it here. Yes, we join it here. You can see our trouser coming out. I want to see this, guys. This is so good, guys. So let's cut it out. Alright guys, so I'm going to show us just some uniqueness on this back piece here. The difference between the back and the front piece is simply at the waist area here, alright, and by the sides here. So at the waist area here, I'm going to come up here by 2.5 inches, and then join this point to this point, 2.5 inches, alright, and I'll come out this way by 2 inches. I see guys. As simple as that. The next thing for us to do is to move one of the front pieces to the side this way. You can see I kept this, leaving an allowance here, a couple 3 inches. All right. So move this to this way. Leaving an allowance here of this is 2.25 inches down here, and here I'll be having 2 3/4 inch. Okay, difference of 1/2 inch between the allowance here and here. So while I'm cutting, I'll show us how we are going to cut this plate. Let me show us. When we come to this point, the cut here for the back piece will not be as deep as the front one. Come out by 1/2 inch this way, something like this. Then I'll curve it to come and meet up this point here. See this? I will see this. Very simple. So watch carefully how I'm going to cut this out now. Alright, so pay attention here, guys. So guys, we can see we are done cutting this trouser. Very simple and straightforward, guys. We are done cutting our trouser. If you enjoy watching this video, hit the subscribe button and turn your notification bell, guys, on, so that when I drop my video, you'll be the first to be notified. All right, so first, we are going to start with fixing the pockets. After we're done with the pockets, we do the zip. All right, so for the pockets, you can see the length of this pocket. I've cut the pocket to be a length of 13.5, a length of 13.5, and the wideness of the pocket is 7 inches. The wideness is 7 inches. All right, I've done that for the both two pockets. So if you can see this, my pocket flap here, you can see it. The pocket flap, I like it to be wide so that it will cover very well. This is 4.25. You know, the height of it is 9 inches, and I went ahead to weave it. All right. So now watch the placement very well. The two pockets are facing an opposite direction. This pocket will face this side. This one will face that side. So whereas I kept this pocket flap or plaqué, whatever, to face here, this one we do was face this side. That's how you fix pocket on a trouser. Do we understand? So now let's go into the stitching. Let's start with this one. So I'm simply going to top stitch this so that it holds firmly to the pocket, to the pocketing. Right, so now that we are done with this, the next thing is now to, you see this, to go ahead and stitch our pockets. So now these are the front pieces. There are two front pieces. You can see them. So these are the good side. So what did I do? I simply went ahead to the length of pocket opening for adult is 7 inches. We measure from this, from the waist area here down to where I made a cut here is 7 inches. All right. Then I folded it inwards by 1¾ inch. All right. I applied gum here and then I folded inside like this. The same thing on this second side as well. All right. So we're going to be using this one for this. So I'm going to be showing you how we do this. The aim is that when we are done fixing our pockets, all right, we should be having something like this. Guys, I hope you can see it's already coming out. All right. So simply we flip this one like this. Watch where I'm going to run my stitch. On this line I put it, so I'm running my stitch. Slightly beside it. And intentionally I allow this pocketing to come out here a little, all right, less than half an inch, but a little. Intentionally. I'm going to open here like this, and I'll stitch. Come out of here. So after that, the next thing is to make a notch. You know, there's a notch here. We'll notch the pocketing as well. All right. And we'll turn it this way. Run a stitch here. So the next thing we're going to do now is to fold this inside like this and then run a top stitch here. This stitch here will be just like a 1/4 inch wide, less than a quarter. So I like the stitch being tiny. I just make it a 1/4 inch wide so that you can see it like a 1/4 inch wide. And you ensure the line of your stitch is very straight. Can you see the wideness of this stitch here? It's not wide at all. Fine. The next thing is for us to now watch the way I'm moving and folding. Now turn it this way, all right? Now, very importantly, when you are folding, when you are closing this, make sure the edges of this pocketing here are together, all right? If you want, you could use a pin. You could use a pin to pin it to be sure that it doesn't move, it doesn't shake, all right? Then you come up here, make sure you arrange it properly like this, okay? After that, we now remember we folded this inside here by 1¾ inch, right? It means we're still going to leave the allowance here to be 1¾ inch. Because this pocket flap here is replacing what we folded inside. When we are sure, we'll now do a notch here, a stitch here rather. All right. Then we'll come up here and also do a stitch here. Remember, we said it has to be 1¾ inch. Let's confirm 1¾ inch. All right. We'll trim off this excess up here. All right, so the next thing we're going to do now, let's turn this inside. You can see, we'll see this. So we're going to make a notch here. All right. Watch when I'm making this notch. Just on the pockets. Don't touch the trouser. On the pocket, we'll make this notch here. Like half inch inwards. All right. We can now remove this pin here. And we'll come here as well and make a notch here. All right. So I'm going to put my hand in this pocket and bring the pocketing out. All right. When I bring it out, I'm going to start stitching from where this notch I made is. Okay. See this notch here. The watch I'm going to stitch it. This was where we made that half inch notch. So push the pocket inside back. All right. And we do a top stitch. We do a top stitch to ensure that the pocket is firmly stitched. So we can see we are done with this pocket. All right, you can see the pocket here. We are done with pocket. The next thing for us to do now is to start the zip. Today we are going to continue with the stitching of this trouser, and we'll be going on to fix our zip. All right. In the last part, we worked on the pockets. Okay, and this part will be fixing our zip. All right. Alright, so guys, before we go on, this channel here, Nat Tech, is a new channel I've started where I'm teaching people on how to start and grow their YouTube channels. If you are interested, you can check the link in the description below. Click the link to join me on the channel, subscribe, and you will join my mentorship. Thank you guys. Let's continue. These are my zip flaps, right? So first of all, I'm going to show you how I cut my zip flaps. I cut my zip flaps to the length of as much as 9 inches with a wideness of 2.5 inches. Okay, there are 2 zip flaps. You can see there are 2 zip flaps. So I'm going to show you how we fix it. So we're going to turn our trouser, the front piece, this way, and we're going to mark a length of 6.5 inches. Okay. So guys, if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe, okay, so that you will not miss out when I drop my videos. Also drop a comment and let me know if this video is for help. So I'm going to measure from up here to where I see 6.5. I'm going to mark it here 6.5. This is where the length of our zip will stop. Okay. So I'm going to stitch here. Guys, please pay attention. I'm not going to stitch all the way. I'll stop somewhere here, about 1 inch to the end. You see, I didn't stitch all the way down. All right. The next is for us to bring in our zip. Open this way. Bring in our zip. Keep it to be putting down. Now the iron on this zip here is going to be exactly here where I started making my stitch. All right. I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to stitch and stop where this iron is here. This iron. I'll stitch and stop where the iron is there. Stitch and stop there. Can we see this? The next thing to do now is Next thing now is to turn the zip this way, like this. Then I'll introduce my zip flaps. And see this. Introduce my zip flaps. I'll introduce this one. Now when you are keeping your zip flap, this part that is curving in should face like this. Don't keep your zip flap to face to be like this. No, this straight side should be inwards. Okay, should be inside. All right. So this curvy part here, this curvy part should be here like this. So I'm going to keep my zip here. I'll keep in such a way that these zip flaps will cover the zip when I'm done stitching. So I'm not going to keep it like this. No, it's wrong. I'll keep it this way. So when I'm done stitching, these zip flaps will cover this zip. All right. So I just come here and run a top stitch. You see what I did here? So the next thing for us to do now is to fix the second flap. All right. So I'm going to turn this to this side like this, or turn the other side like this. Okay. So this second flap I'm fixing here, it should be at the same length with the first one. What do I mean by that? It should be like this when I am done. Okay. So I'm going to make sure I keep it in a way that when I am done, it will be like that. So I'll keep it like this. You see, and I'm going to start my stitching here, not down here, not up here. I'll start it here around this where this iron is, right? So I'm going to mark that place so I don't make a mistake. This here. I'm going to start my stitch here. All right. Open this, okay, and still do a top stitch on this side here. I'll do a top stitch here, right? So next is for us to now start closing up our zip. All right. Make sure this is straight. Now start closing up our zip. And how we're going to do that? We'll simply bring in this here. Okay. Make sure everything is very flat now. Everything should be flat. Everything should be flat. Okay. So we're going to make sure we bring this zip and keep it here to be. Now look what I'm doing. Can you see this here? So, can you see this here? I'll now push it and keep it to be like this. I'll run the stitch this side. All right. I'll still start around that iron there, where the iron is on the zip there. Now, when I'm stitching, I want you to take note of something very important. You see this stitch here, okay? And there's a stitch here, all right? This stitch should overlap this one. This stitch should cross over this one. Like, I'm going to be keeping it this way, all right? Don't keep it so that this stitch here is outside. It's not correct. You should cross this down one a little. The top stitch should cross the up the down one a little. I think that's clear, right? Now that we're done with that, the next thing is like the final thing we are going to do. We'll turn it over to this side, the good side. And the next thing is on closing our zip, all right? Closing the zip. And this is where some people still find it difficult, okay? Getting this hole here to be straight. Getting this zip hole here to be straight, all right? Now I'm going to be showing you a trick you can employ to do that. you find it very easy and interesting. Okay. All right. So for us to stitch this top stitch, this zip stop stitch here, we have to first of all ensure that this this was like this. Ensure that it's open this way. All right, so that we don't stitch over it. Like the down flap. Then now this will help you to curve your zip. You can see the wideness of this is just about almost 1.5, short of 0.01 to 1.5. Then the length is, I made it to 7.5, all right? But when you come to your zip, when covering this line on the zip here, you know there is an iron head here. When we're stitching, there was an iron head here. So you ensure that you curve your zip below that iron head, okay? So that you don't match it, you don't stitch on it. So since my iron head is here, I can feel it since it's here, okay? I'm going to curve my line a bit below it, just a bit below it, all right? Just a bit below it. So I'm going to now keep, since I've marked it here, I'll now keep this, I'll make sure I arrange this properly the way I want it to be. Now keep this my zip curve. Okay, I'll keep it here to stop where this chalk mark is here. Then I'm going to mark my zip where I am going to stitch it. Okay. Make sure it's arranged properly. I'll simply mark my zip where I'm going to stitch it. Simply mark it. I think this should be very simple for everybody so that you will not have an issue of curving your zip, right? So can we see this? It's very simple. You just stitch on it and that's all. We're going to stitch this. We stitch exactly on this line, exactly. Not stitching by the side. Stitch on the line. Ensure that you're not stitching on this down flap here. Open it very well. Now, when you get close to the end here, there's something you must do. You open this down side, okay? Can you see this? Make sure you fold this very side. Fold it so that you don't stitch on it. Okay? And make sure you also open your zip allowance, your seam allowance like this. And then you fold this one. Fold it this way so that you don't stitch on it. Then you close it back. All right? Then you continue with your stitch to the end. Continue with your stitch to the end. So can we see this, guys? I folded this up, okay, so that I could run my stitch, so I could stitch and come here, right? So now I can close it back. Can you see this? Then hold this like this. Do a stitch here that will hold the both zip flaps together. Can you see this? So now we can see our zip has been fixed. The next thing is for us to attend to the back pockets. So this is one of the back piece, all right? So we're going to identify where we'll fix our pocket. I'm going to mark from the side line here. This is the center line, okay? Center line. I'm going to mark from the side line here inwards. I'm going to mark at 4.5 inches, right? Then the length of our pocket is going to be 3.5 inches. Length will stop here, 3.5 inches, all right? So we are going to fold it this way. This is the back side. We fold it this way. When you are folding it, ensure that these two edges up here are the same. These two edges up here are the same, right? Then we're going to stitch on an allowance that is a bit less than half inch. This allowance is a bit less than half inch, but more than a quarter inch. All right, so after we have done making this, the next thing is for us to go ahead and, all right, so after applying paper gum here, all right, in the area we're going to put our pocket, I'm going to simply go ahead, okay? So you can see this pocket here. Let me show what I did. I marked 3 lines on this pocket. This is line number 1, line number 2, line number 3. All right, very simple trick, okay? The wideness of this pocket is 5 inches. 5 inches, you can see this. And this is the center here, which is 2.5. Center here, all right? So I also went ahead to put the pocket up here on the first line. I just put on the first line like this, so as to have this line here. So watch how we're going to stitch our pocket. This mark for the center here will be on this dark line here, okay? And this part I folded like this will be down, not at the waist area, it will be down. Please don't make any mistake. So where I made this chalk mark here, it will be exactly on this dark line, all right? Okay, so this chalk mark. So now that is one. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to ensure that from this waist to where this line is 3.5 inches. So this is 3.5 inches. Okay, wow, this is accurate. Okay, 3.5 inches. All right. Even this side, this line here, from here to the 3.5 inches. If it is not, we shift it down to be sure that it is at 3.5 inches. Can you see this? At 3.5 inches. Now we're going to go ahead and stitch this pocket. Right? So you see I've stitched on this line. I'm also going to stitch on this second line here. I'll go ahead to stitch on this second line, this middle line. All right? Stitch on it as well. So now when you turn this to the back, you must be sure that if you see that on the same line, it stitches, okay? So the next thing we are going to do is to go ahead and do what? And cut. See what I'm going to do? Just watch carefully what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and cut from here. I'm not cutting from here. Don't make that mistake. I'll cut in the middle here, this side. Then I'll make a notch here on the main trouser. Then I'll cut here. Now watch carefully how I am going to cut this. Very important. I'm going to cut and stop here where I started the stitch. All right. But I won't touch that thread where I began the stitch. Do the same thing this side. Turn the other way, do the same thing. Also do the same thing here. All right. So guys, you can see if I should try to turn this in, let me just show something. If I turn this in this way, and I also turn this in this way, you will see that our pocket will form automatically. Can you see this? Our pocket will automatically form by itself. Can you see? See this, guys? Very simple. Very, very simple and straightforward. Can you see? So let's stitch it by the sides here. Make sure that it is properly fixed, all right?
Can you see this, guys? Can you see this? So we'll stitch this second side as well. Very carefully make sure it's properly aligned. Guys, if this video is making sense, please subscribe to this channel, like the video, share the video. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much for doing that. On the stitch here. So guys, we can see that even before ironing this trouser, this pocket is very, very okay. Can you see this? Even before ironing this trouser, this pocket is set very fine with no issues. Can we see this? It's as simple as this. The next thing I want to show us is this. We'll have to come under here and let's fill it first. Okay, just run a stitch here on this stitch here, so the pocket will be firmly, held together. Okay, so this stitch we have run here, we have made here, is to help the pocket to stay, not to pull out. You see, it to be firmly together. So the next thing is for us to go ahead and close this pocket, guys. As simple as that. All right, so now the next thing for us to do is to close the pockets. So finally, okay, how it's looking. How do we close the pocket? We are going to use this pocketing to close the pocket. And the length of this pocketing I have here, the length is 15. This is 15. The length of this pocketing I have here is 15, okay? Is 16. Once it's up to 15, it's okay, you can use it. The wideness is 6.5. That's okay. So watch carefully how I am going to use this pocketing, all right? I'm going to place this pocketing this way. And see this. I'm going to place it this way. I'll allow it to come out here a bit, right? Let it come out here above here. Let it come out. They come out a bit here. You can see. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to, as it is like this, I'm going to open it this way. I run a stitch here. All right. Make sure it's in the center of the pocket. Make it in the center of the pocket. This pocket is the center of this pocket here. Make sure that it's also coming up here a little. As I've already said. Open it this way. Run a stitch here. So after running this stitch, the next thing I'm going to do is to close it back like this. And I'll come here, okay? And I will simply let it be flat. Let it be flat, okay? Fold this here. Just a little. Fold it here a little. Also run this. If you want to fold it, you can just weave it. But since I didn't weave it, I'll fold it a little and still run a stitch on it. Fold this here and stitch with this here. All right. You see this, make sure it's straight. You can see our pocket is almost set. See this? The next thing is for us to close these pockets by the side. Watch carefully how I'm going to close it. We can see this pocket. The next thing is for us to bias the pocket round. Can we see this? We need to now bias this pocket all round, okay? And that will bring us to the end of this pocket. So I have my bias here. All right, I have my bias here. I'm simply going to bias it. Now watch how I'm going to bias this pocket. I'm going to open my bias down. Let it be open down. All right. Then I will close it up here. I'm opening the bias down. Can you see? Okay, but up here to be like this. The next thing is to turn it this way. All right, turn it this way, and now when you're running this stitch, be careful, okay? Don't make a mistake. Allow the pocket fabric to be free. The pocketina to be free inside. So we can see our pockets on this way. See our pockets. Very fine. We can open this. Okay. This shouldn't be left on your float. When you're done, you ensure that you open it. All right. Open it. So thank you so much. Welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you. All right. Thank you so much.
Right. So this is the front piece we worked on in our last video. This is the back pocket. Right. We are done with that. Next thing is for us to go ahead and start joining up.
We continue. If you look at this is my new channel, and on this channel I'm teaching on how to start and grow your YouTube channel. All right. So if you're interested, you can click the link in the description below and subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, even if you're not interested, subscribe, okay, to help the channel grow. All right. Thank you so much. Let's continue.
So we are going to join this to this. All right. We join this to this here, and we'll join this to this here. All right. So let's start. All right, so since we're done with this side line, we move to the inseam, which is this here. We'll be stitching on half-inch allowance, okay? We'll go ahead to stitch the second leg as well, just the same way we stitched this one, okay? So this second leg of the trouser, we'll stitch it the same way we stitch the first one, both the out seam and the inseam. All right, so you can see the two legs of our trousers. We have sewn both the inseam and the out seam for our trouser. The next thing now is for us to come to the waist. All right, we are finished joining the back and the front piece together. It's to come to the waist and mark our belt holders and attach, join the waist. So we're going to be using this waistband here. Okay. All right, we're going to be using that together with this waistband I folded here. I'm going to show you how I folded this waistband here. Now I cut this waistband to be up to 24 inches long, all right. And the wideness of it is 2.5 inches, okay. I folded half inch this way, so that I'm having 1.5 remaining. Can you see that? I did that for the two of them, all right. The next thing is I went ahead to do my belt holders. Guys, if you don't know how to do a belt holder, simply you cut a fabric to be about, let's just say 1.5 inch wide, okay. So you can fold it like this, fold this way, and fold this way and stitch it, okay? Or you will stitch it and turn it out to make a belt holder. All right, so I went ahead to cut them. All of them are 3.5 inches long, 3.5 inches long, and there are 6. So I'm going to mark where we're going to place in our belt holders so that we'll continue. All right. So you place your belt holders beginning from the center point here. You mark your belt holders. From the beginning here, I'm going to mark 3 inches from this beginning of the zip here. I'm going to mark 3 inches inwards. This is where my belt holder will be. Here. I will see that mark, guys. The same way this side as well. I'm going to mark 3 inches from here. All right, let me turn it this way. I'm going to mark 3 inches from here. This is where my belt holder will still be. And we see that. This is where my belt holders will be. Sorry. Mark 3 inches from this beginning line here. Here. All right. So the next thing now is the next belt holder is going to be at this point, just ½ inch away from this side seam here. ½ inch. All right. Then the next one will be after I identify the waist of this trouser. So the waist of this trouser is 34. If we divide by 2, that is 17. So you start taking your waist measurement from the zip here. Okay. So that is 17. So let's see where we have 17. Then we will know where to mark our waist. All right. So see where I have 17 here. So I'm going to mark where this 17 is. Since I get my 17 here, all right, I'm going to come in by 1.5 inch. That's what my last belt holder will be. It's 1.5 inch. It will be here. All right, so my belt holder will be here, here, and here. All right. So let's go ahead. So before I start stitching my belt holder, I'm going to trim off these zip allowances I have here. I'm going to hold it together and trim it. It flaps around. All right, so now I'm going to bring in, first of all, this waistband. All right, I'm going to keep it. I'll start marking it from this side. And you see this, once it takes shape this side, I will take it to the front because I need the excess at the front here. Okay, so which one I'm going to start here. All right, so I'll open it. So I'm going to start stitching. I'll just open it here. I'm going to keep my belt holder here at the place where I marked for it. I'm going to keep it here. So next, I'm going to come here and top stitch this. Make sure everything is flat under, okay? I'll top stitch this waistband here, like this belt holder here, like ½ inch below. Not up to ½ inch, like 1/4 inch below. You see this? I'll do this on all the belt holders. All right, guys. So you can see I've notched all the belt holders. And guys, this is paper gum I used here. Paper gum. All right. What I used here is called paper gum. Okay. So the next thing for us to go ahead and fix this band on this side as well. Okay. All right. So for us to fix to attach our waistband, now you see this waistband, it has a right top on it. Gold. All right. So you have to fix in a way that the right top will be staying correctly. Okay, like this. All right, not for it to be upside down. Okay. So I'm going to keep it here. Look at this zip line here. This zip line here. I'm going to keep my belt holder to my waistband to start just crossing this zip line a little. Okay. It's okay. So watch how I am going to stitch it. Very, very important. So once I keep it like this, now it's not crossing this line. Okay, it's not crossing this line this way. It will shift below the line a little. All right. And now I have to change my thread to black thread. So watch carefully how I'm going to be stitching this. When I get to where this belt holder is, I'll carry it
and fix it in, all right? But I won't pull it. I won't pull it, or I will leave a little allowance. Okay, I'll make it to be a little bit free. Okay, not to pull it like this completely. Let it be a little bit free. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the second side. You can see this. You can see this. I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the second side of the waist. Same thing I've done here. You see, this waist is already taking shape. You see this. So, but for this side, when I get to the end here, you can see this one. I'm going to close this one. Okay. This is the second side of the trouser of the waist. All right. So I'm going to close this one here and also close this one here. So for this one, I'm going to notch it. So to close it, I'll turn it like this way, right? Run a stitch to close it. Or let's keep it this way so that you see it much more clearly. So we'll turn it out this way. So for this side of the waist, we are done closing the waistband. As for the front here, so I'm going to show us how we can now close this other side as well, this side. Mind you, we want to have button here, okay? So I'm going to create something like this so that we can fix our button here, all right? So we'll turn it behind. We'll turn the weight behind. So we want this to be like this, okay? To be like this, all right? Which means we mark this place, okay? Mark this point here and make a notch this side. Also make a notch this side, all right? What I'm doing. So I am going to put this like this and stitch it because I want this to be like this, all right? So I hold this on, stitch on it. So these places we notched, all right? I'm going to turn it this way like this, okay? So first we are going to, guys, watch what I'm doing here carefully, else you'll be lost, okay? So look at these places are notched. I'm going to fold this like this, okay? So I'll make a stitch this way. And see, I'll do it again. I'm going to fold it behind like this, all right? Now bend this way, bring this one out so that I can run a stitch here. We get it. So I'll turn this way and run that stitch. All right. We are around the first stitch. Now is the second stitch. The second stitch, I'm still going to put it this way and run the second stitch. All right. I will see this. I'm running this stitch like on top of this line here. Like I'm running this stitch like somewhere here. All right. You see this, guys? So I'm still going to notch here. Then I'm going to push this in and turn it over, all right? So guys, if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, hit the subscribe button and turn your notification bell on so that whenever I drop amazing contents like this, you'll be notified, all right? So I'm going to fold this waistband here like this, okay? Once it is, guys, just fold it here a little. You see this? And we are done with this. I'm going to use my pin to pin it in place so that it doesn't shake. You see this? Everything is in place. Turn it this way. You can see our trouser zip. If we zip it now, let's zip it and see. We'll zip it now, we can see. Now see this, guys. Everything is almost set. Can you see this? So let's finish up, all right? The next thing is for us to join the waist at the back. So we'll hold the back together. We had marked the size of our waist. We say this is where the waist is, okay? So we'll take note of that point. Let's measure and mark the other side as well. So this is like 1 inch, okay? So I'll come here and also mark what? 1 inch. Also mark 1 inch, okay? So that we can join the waist. Now I'm going to show something very important. When you are joining the waist, okay, make sure these two lines are together. Okay, they are together. This line and this one. Let it not cross this way, or it should be together. The two lines to be together. So ensure that the two lines are together before you start your stitch. You start making the stitch. So I'm going to be sure that the two lines are matching together correctly. Now stitch below. When I get here, I'm going to open this allowance. All right. I also open this one under, make it flat. Let's confirm that this is correct. Okay, this is correct. Now you see this. This is very correct. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close it up. This is not shaking. So go ahead and close this up. So now that we have made a stitch here, we're going to fold our allowances both sides like this, and we'll fold it below like this. We're going to ensure that this enters here and this enters here, so they are not seen outside. Okay. All right. So I'm going to now keep this, close it carefully, and I'll do a top stitch here, just a little. Okay, to hold the center of the waist together. So after I'm done with holding the center of the waist together, I'll now come to the side and start the stitch. All right. Mind you, you can see where we are beginning to stitch is from here. All right, from this point here, and we are stitching this and under stitch below the waistband. So an under stitch below the waistband. So I'll stitch and skip the belt holder and continue at the other side. See that everything is neatly done. I want to see the inside. I want to see our waist. You see this? Very clean and straightforward, neatly done. All right, so I'm going to see the way I'm opening the allowance. I'm going to take my time to open this allowance like this for all the 4 lines. Okay, you know, each of the trouser has two seams. Okay, the in and the out seam. So I'm going to take my time to open all of them this way. All right. Okay, so I've gone ahead to press the waist properly. You can see how it's looking. All right. So the next is for us to fold this trouser and hem it. Okay. Watch carefully how I'm going to fold this inwards here. Also fold this here. Okay. Arrange it properly. See that? Now keep it, and then now iron it. All right. Keep it this way. Iron it properly. Then we'll hem it. Okay. So the length of this trouser is 40.5. So this is 40.5 here. So I'm going to fold it here on this 40.5. I'll fold it here at the 40.5 mark. All right. All right. So I'm going to fold it inside like this on the 40.5 inch mark. All right. Make sure it's flat. I'll do the same thing on the second one here, on the 40.5 inch mark. Now iron it. So at this point, guys, you can choose to use hemming gum to finish this this down part. You can choose to use hemming gum to hem it. Okay, you can choose to go over to the machine and still stitch it using the machine. Whichever you want to do is actually your choice. All right. Once you do that, your trouser is done and everything is finished. So if you enjoy watching this video, subscribe to my channel. Welcome to Nard Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world. Thank you so much, guys. If you enjoyed watching this video, subscribe. Thank you. The trouser right here. So we are done with this trouser. So guys, go stitch your trouser and upload it. Let me see. Stitch your trouser and upload it. Let me see. Use this video, okay? Make your trouser and upload it. Let me see.